Please sit down. Is this on? So can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. This is what some ethics class going on.
Property VOT.
Eh?
Property.
So have I interfered in your class?
No, sir.
Are you sure? Okay, okay, okay. Good. So firstly, are you all from Orissa? Now, is there any people who come from all? So Odisha ro? Okay, okay, good. And if I have to divide Odisha between, let's say, Eastern Odisha and Western Odisha, okay, Western Odisha ro kete aschan su sepotu? Sambalpur, Balangir, sepotu sabu? Okay. So balance is all this side. Okay. The A side row, let me see how many from Cuttack and Bhubaneswar. Raise your hands. Acha, good. How many from Puri district? How many from Bhadrak, Baleswar, Mayurbhanj, that area? How many from Dhenkanal? And some people, जो हाथ तो उठे ना थे, will miscellaneous. Eh? Okay, chalo, good. So you got a good combination of, you know, eh? कौन है? Ah, good. Okay. How many people out? How many of you have earlier appeared civil services, OPSC, or let's take at UPSC? Firstly, how many people have appeared OPSC before? OPSC. OPSC हाथ ठीक करो. OPSC, the Odisha Public Service Commission. And how many people have appeared for UPSC, Central Civil Service? अच्छा, चलो, good. And how many people of you are just appearing? I mean, not appeared at all. Raise hands. Acha, chalo, good. So again, it's a very good combination. Okay, you have experienced people who already appeared the Union Public Service Commission. You have also guys who have appeared for the OPSC, right? And you have people who are still aspiring to appear for this. How many of you have cleared the prelims of, let's say, UPSC? Prelims of UPSC. How many of you have cleared prelims of OPSC? Prelims, okay. So that means by and large, 2-3 of you have cleared prelims of OPSC and UPSC is about to clear. Right. Idea of interacting with you, with my vast experience of, let me tell you something, I do not know whether if you have to ask my little background, it's a very diverse background, you know. Have you heard of NDA, National Defence Academy? Okay, okay. So passed out from India a long time back, got commissioned into the Indian Military Academy, then joined the Special Forces. You know what's the Special Forces? Infantry Special Forces, who goes and strikes across the border. Okay. And served everywhere in the country. Then I was a diplomat in the Middle East as India's defense advisor. Then I was with the United Nations peacekeeping force, and so on and so forth, and commanded an active brigade in Kashmir. Then I was also the chairman of the Service Selection Board, who selects people for the defense forces. Then I was requested by then Chief Minister if you could come over out here for the UPSC. Then I came here and I remained in UPSC, Odisha Public Service Commission, for 6 years. I've been the longest serving chairman of the UPSC. And then I went to UPSC as an advisor for 2 years, and I'm still there, and now into some sort of an academics issues. So we happened to bump into Biplab the other day, when I was doing a little marketing, and he said, "Sir, I've been looking for you." I said, "My God, you've been looking for me." I said, "What are you?" I said, "I'm so and so, I'm so and so," and that's how it all began. Good. I said, "Good, you found me in time, because normally I'm traveling quite a lot, and which, I'm a little free, because next week I'll be traveling." So I said, "Okay, let me take out some time and speak to you." We'll have it absolutely interactive, and should you have anything that you want to query upon, you can always either interject with me, or you can write it down, and then we can resolve it towards the end. Okay. First and foremost, I would like to compliment all of you, congratulate all of you for having taken a bold decision to appear for the civil services. Why bold is because against a union vacancy, civil services at all India level vacancy of just about 1,000 plus, 1,100, sometimes 1,200 or 1,000 plus. We have nearly about 11 lakhs appearing who fill in the forms, but many of them peter out, whatever may be the reason. So up to last year it was about 6 lakhs, and so it's a competition of selecting 1,200, 1,100, 1,200, 1,100, 1,200 people from 6 lakhs. That's the number one. Second is, it's an all India examination, and the competition is across the board. So anything which goes beyond the frontier of the state, always it gets into some sort of a larger competition. When it comes to OPSC, so the numbers who appear are much less, but then the competition remains also equally high. And that is the reason that we have 3 stages of selection, which is, firstly starts with a screening, that's called the preliminary examination, and second is the mains with the written examination, and then followed by the interview. Prelims is nothing but is a load management factor, okay, wherein since we have decided to have a subjective type, written type in the mains, it's very difficult to actually correct so many papers within a short frame of time and come to some sort of a decision as to how many people should be called for interview. That's why the cutoffs are variables, because we normally select 12 times the laid down vacancies, 10 to 12 times the laid down vacancy for the prelims, and you bring it down to about 3 times as far as the mains are concerned. This I am talking of the Central Civil Services, of the UPSC. In OPSC, sometimes it is 2.25. I laid it down to 2.25 when I was there. I think it's now 2.5. So it is a variable depending upon the number of vacancies. In OPSC, the vacancies are not as high as UPSC because that's a state, and it varies between runs sometimes from 200 plus to sometimes 300, sometimes 400. I think last year it was 600 or something. But there are a large amount of vacancies which still remains, because we do find that not many people are able to qualify, especially in the reserved category, and we had made special arrangements for candidates who belong to reserved category to bring them up to a level so that they are able to clear the tests. Not only for the civil services at the state level, but for all government services. This has been my experience, and I've been during my time I've been telling the government then to find ways and means to upgrade the people from the reserved category. Not that they're bad, only thing that the exposure is not adequately high. The next question comes, the why civil services? I know you've taken a bold decision, and many a times the time that you actually take to clear an examinations runs about 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, depending upon your state of preparation and the number of chances that you have. And the patience wears out. Not from the point of parents, but also from your friends and also yourself, that you are fighting against something for which there is no certainty. More so when you find some of your colleagues who have joined the IT world, who have joined the services world. He may be delivering, working in Zomato, he might be working in some IT firm in Bangalore. You know, though he might have started with just about 25, 30, 40,000, he will soon get into a little larger pay packet. And then he comes back and says, oh, you are still preparing. Just see, I am on my work. So these are the challenges that a candidate has to undergo during the process of preparation, because it's not a one-time preparation or 1 year preparation, it sometimes continues for very long. And third thing is, if you are in an environment of coaching like this one, so there is a certain amount of investment which is required to be done when you join a coaching center, because the coaching center, if it has to be good, then it is to get faculties from Delhi like him. You are from Delhi? Yes. Okay. If I take Delhi like this thing, get the best of the people to guide you and supervise you, and also ensure there's so much of process which goes into preparing a candidate at an all India level, and all this thing costs money. So there is an element of investment which takes place. So the question always keeps coming into the candidate's mind is that how long can I pay? Do I take this only once and then I'll do on my own, and so on and so forth. How much time do I give to myself? Do I give myself 1 year? Do I give myself 3 years? And do I say, okay, after that say bye or something? So in nutshell, a candidate preparing for a civil services undergoes tremendous amount of psychological stress and strain, okay, which emerges from the point of view of uncertainty whether I will clear, emerges from the point of view of financial loads, emerges from the point of view of how do I steer my career if I do not succeed even after 3 years, 4 years of preparation. Because by the time I would have aged, how do I do this thing? So these are challenges which a candidate has to face. How exactly to handle these challenges? There are ways and means. If at all we'll get chance in future to tell you, we'll work on that. But it's important that you know these challenges. And why it's important to know the challenges is that then you can find methodology, you can find route to handle the challenges. If you don't identify challenges, you will be working in just thin air and just one fine day say, oh, it's too much now, let me just throw a damn bloody books and move away. But the issue of challenges and clearing a competitive exams, you'll be surprised, is the same everywhere. Whether you wanted to, if you had tried to appear for an engineering entrance examination after your plus 2, whether it is a joint entrance examination all India or state level, or for that matter, see, when I look back 40 years back when I did my NDA, it was equally a tough competition. Till now also, in fact, the number of people who appear for NDA with 350 plus 300 people, 700 vacancies are 12 lakhs as against civil services who are 11 lakhs and 1100 vacancies. We take IIT, same thing. You take people wanting to join the, or you want to clear the CAT, ZAT, any management, etc. So anywhere, it's a competition. So if you have decided that I will join the bandwagon of competitive exam, you have to have that mental resilience that I will bloody well do it. I'll do it at any cost. If you ask my personal example in life, I must have faced innumerable challenges, and those challenges are not achieving some goals or achieving some profits or achieving so and so. It was a challenge of life and death. Your decision could topple you to something unimaginable like death, or it can take you to victory. Because in war, there are no runners up. And similarly, huge challenges to fight, whether to fight insurgency, to fight so and so, you are continuously in challenges. But then, when I look back with my full 35 years of service in the army, having shot, mind you, I've got bullet injuries, I'm standing in front of you. So if I had left early, knowing that, oh, there is so much of challenge in service. So here you have to make a mental resolve. And what is that mental resolve? That I shall clear this exam at any cost. Plan B we'll see later. Plan A is I shall clear this. And if you have to give me a little amount of leverage to tell you what's the time frame, you can give a time frame that I shall clear this in a span of 3 years. Give yourself 3 years. And close everything yourself for next 3 years. When I say close everything, right from the time you take admission here, you will be confronted with stupid questions from people. Kaun karuchu? Why are you doing coaching? Coaching is useless. Ghare patha pade. Why are you wasting time? And so on and so forth. Okay. After you have not, supposing you don't clear the first exams, he says, "Ya chhod usko tum. Jaake go join some bank, or join some IT, join some services karke." This sort of things will keep pounding you as you keep progressing. So when you make that little frame, okay, and you want to stay in that frame, it says, I will be for next 3 years in this particular frame, and let anything come, I am not going to get perturbed. So you are shielding yourself completely. But you can't stop other people from talking. So the resolve that you take is that anybody can speak anything, but I'm sorry, just a minute. Okay, I'm not going to allow that to come into my frame. So to repeat, what did I say? You got to make a frame, both mental and physical frame to yourself. Give yourself a reasonable time frame. Let's take off 3 years. That I shall do it, and I will not allow myself to be interfered mentally or physically at all during this period of 3 years. I will see my plan B later. Are you with me? Yes or no? I don't hear a response that fast. Say yes or no. Yeah, that's the right spirit. Okay. So unless you create the mental frame, because from mental frame comes mental mapping, from mental mapping comes mental execution, from execution comes options. Everywhere, whether you are a sports person or you are anywhere you would get into a challenge, you got to make a firstly a mental frame, and during the frame you are not allowing any such interference to take you away from this frame. That's the first thing that I want to tell you. The next thing I want to tell you is that many of you will be thinking, what is this civil service all about? Yes, to a commoner, to a normal person, a civil services is what sees the eye to a common man, like in terms of our colonial legacy of a collector or an SP, or then you will find somebody at the level of a secretary or something, and suffixes being given in terms of IAS and IPS and so, which gives a more amount of a social recognition in the society. Oh my God, I am an IAS or I am an IPS, I am an so. Yes, those are part of the game. We carried a lot of colonial legacy from British times. But today in context, let me tell you, if you want to be a civil administrator, we are looking for people of competence. We are looking people of intelligence. We are looking people who can deliver things on ground. We are looking for people who could be socially adjustable. We are looking for people who could be emotionally resilient. We are looking for people in civil services who could handle plethora of issues, be it education, be it social issues, be it industries, anything for that matter, because we will be preparing as journalists and then putting into various verticals to look after that. In nutshell, you will be exposed to large amount of segments of governance as compared to any of your friends who join any other company. So when you think that why I should join, this is something that this is the only service, whether in India or abroad, which gives you an exposure to multiple verticals of administration and governance. So that means the people that has to be prepared are to be competent enough to handle these verticals. Civil services is not a new thing. It started way back in 1933, even before independent. And it was after a very long fight, long amount of then people who fought for independence. They say कि earlier we were never given access to civil services in the officer cadre. Most of us people, very bright guys who joined the ICS, etc., they initially joined as a clerical cadre, later upgrade to officers. But in 1933, after the Chelmsford reforms, they said that we will take some people from the Indian natives. They used to call us what? British natives. Okay. And they allotted a vacancy of 30 only out of then British vacancies of nearly about 400 plus. They say Indians are not fit enough. अगर 30 भी मिल जाएगा तो बहुत है. Amazingly, in just about 10 years' time, little correction, my mistakes. It started in 1919, Chelmsford reforms. In 10 years' time, at 29, we produced such outstanding people that from 30 were almost doubled to 60, 70. And they realized the importance of Indians in the civil services, and that's the time when then Prime Minister of England, Judge Lloyd, said the steel frame of India. So the word steel frame comes from those days of the 30s of then Prime Minister of England, Judge Lloyd. So on and so forth, that by time you got independence in 1947, we had crossed 50% of the vacancies of the then ICS. That means we had more than about 200 people in ICS, upsetting the British representation. And this lot of people who then joined did a fantastic job mostly during the Second World War. Do you know when Second World War, what is the period of Second World War? 1939 to 1945. And also in the transition of India to a democratic country. And then subsequently to a lot of amendments and discussions which took place in the Constituent Assembly, then we created the Indian Civil Services Systems, it's called the IAS. And the selection, so that it should be transparent, was given to Union and the State Public Service Commissions. And they were made constitutional bodies. The Public Service Commissions, both at the central government level and also at the state government level, are constitutional entities. They are not statutory entities, because they are enshrined in the Constitution. Why? Because the political leaders and thought process of those days realized that if they were brought under the control of the executive, even if it's statutory, they're bound to be interfered with, and the selection systems is going to be politicized very soon. So such was the level of protection which was given to the selection of the civil services. Hence, one of the largest number of articles in the Constitution, from 315 to 323, 8 articles, were devoted specially for the Union and the State Public Service Commission, and they defined how exactly the power should be and how the selection should take place. No other selection system in the country enjoys so much of privilege of a constitutional authority trying to select. So that's the beauty of it. So when you get selected to be civil servant officers, you will by and large be a part of the Constitution, because you will show your allegiance to the President of India as a part of the Constitution. And a series of protection was given to the civil servants in terms of Article 311, in terms of Article 308, and so on and so forth. And this particular decision of the government has stood the test of time. How many years we are now into independence? From 47 to now? कितना वर्ष हो गया? 77. It's a pretty long time for one system to survive, let me tell you. For 77 years, this system has survived. I was part of the civil services examination reforms from 20 to 22, where we have debated large amount of reforms to be brought into the civil services. They are yet to be made public, so I can't speak much about it. But the fact is today, I can only just share that we are not tampering with the constitutional status of the examination. but we are bringing in quite a large amount of changes into the nature and the way the examination has to be conducted. Because we've seen this over last 70, 75 years. There has been certain amendments which has taken place. There have been 2 ARCs, Administrative Reforms Commissions, which has actually suggested large amount of reforms to the nature of the tests per se. But the last thing is, a lot of things is to be done. Whether to have optionals, not optional, different type of optional, whether it should have so many subjects and so on and so forth, whether we should bring in some new type of things into the prelims. We have done a correlativity study between the prelims and also the mains. And you'll be surprised that the correlativity is by and large moves more than 60 to 70%. That means if you are studying something for the prelims, those things are also going to help you as far as the mains are concerned, contrary to many people who think that both are not correlated. We did not have this in UPSC. During my time, I got this correlativity to more than about 70 to 80%. So that helps. Something what I did also is that I got the syllabus of both UPSC and UPSC almost in similar lines, so that a candidate doesn't have to prepare twice. Earlier it was different. During my time I got it streamlined. I think it's still being followed the same, so that you don't have to appear for this thing. But some of the other I do not know, though I did come across many people who cleared the UPSC, had cleared the OPSC in top ranks. But the numbers that I was expecting during my time, that because of the similarity of the examination process and the syllabus, possibly a large number will qualify in the UPSC. It has somehow not happened. Maybe people are more keen to be happily, if they got the OPSC, Hegala, Bahut Hegala, I don't want to get into UPSC after that. Unlike in UPSC, if somebody gets not the IS, IPS, IFS, supposing gets the other cadres, they keep trying to get into the IS cadres, even if they are doing the service. But they have the union, the Home Ministry has got a provision that you can take leave so and so. But we still haven't got it in Orissa. That's something which you need to think about. That's not your case for the time being. Presently, you are now thinking that how exactly to clear the exam, which is very natural, very, very natural. If you are sitting here and paying money out and trying to appear for an examination, how will you not have a hope and expectations that you are not going to clear? It's a very natural process. So here comes the question, sir, what is it that we need to do now? Do we have to make a change in our approach? What do I do? Do I have to bring any change in my approach or personality issues from beginning? Or keep going by the routine thing, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, kaam karo, okay, it's only hard work that gives the success. No, when a donkey does hard work has its own thing, but hard work also has its limitations. Along with hard work, you need to put the right amount of frame of mind, the approach, and the ingenuity of application as to which one to study, which one not to study, which one to give less, and so on. So as you keep progressing, because the course is so vast that apparently you can't remember everything. If you read something today, 7 days later, you would have forgotten half the things. You realize, "Arey yaar, main to padhi thili, kaun hala?" And then you start getting fear, you start getting anxiety, okay, into systems. I'm not able to remember anything. How do I clear the whole examination process per se? But there is a method in this madness. So as an introductory thing that I have to speak to you all is that I'll take you to the level of the interview tests. What is it that we look for? A lot of people keep asking these questions, and I must share this also with you. One of the most important thing that we look for people, I'm also trying to concentrate only those qualities which is going to help you even now. We have done a study, again, before I do tell you, that all the 7 qualities that has been defined in the UPSC interviews, that we look for these qualities. If these qualities are nurtured at an early stage, that is going to substantially help the people in prelims and also in the mains. These are deep studies done by expert agency at the UPSC level. Now, this is something which you will not be aware of much. I don't think in Delhi also would have been aware of it, but since I was part of the commission for reforms, I can share you this. So, what is this quality which is most important? And the most important quality that you look for is your power of understanding and power of communications. First is understanding, which we can define it, depth of understanding and so on and so forth. And what is power of understanding? A simple thing is that if I tell you something, how are you perceiving it firstly, and how are you retaining it? The 2 persons of understanding, 2 factors, one is perception and the second is retention. As I am talking to you, if there are 60 odd people sitting here, there are 60 brains which are working in different directions. Okay, with different thought process in my mind. Some must be waiting eagerly. Sir, can you just come to the point to tell me, sir, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and things will be over. Why is it giving us so much of background? Some will say, oh my God, sir is giving us background, I never knew this about. Okay. So 60 people will have 60 different thoughts, and that different thoughts has to be channeled in such a manner that you are able to receive what I say. Unless you are able to receive, okay, what I say, your response are going to be different. By merely sitting here doesn't mean that you are receiving. You may be thinking something else. And exactly the same thing happens during your written examination and also during interview. More so in the interview, I've seen it. I've saying from my experience of at the UPSC level and also at this level, I can tell you that we have come across the brightest of candidates, having done very high marks in the written examination, but faltered greatly, dramatically in this first aspect of power of understanding and comprehension. Because either that fellow thought कि I have got so much of marks in so and so written, मुझे कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, मैं कुछ भी बोल दूंगा, कोई problem नहीं है. If let's say the highest mark last time was 900, कितना 860 something, okay, something which took place. मैं जाके कुछ भी बोल दूंगा 140, 150 अगर मिल ही जाएगा तो कोई problem नहीं है. As it is clear, how does it matter to me? He has come with that particular thing. Or a fellow has, though we don't tell you the marks before the interview, but then he says a fellow has actually prepared too much. He says, I want to impress the complete board. He has prepared A, B, C, D, but moment mauka milega to wahi bolega. So people come with different mental frames, and create some sort of a thing by which they are not able to perceive what the questions is being asked. Same thing happened, people dramatically doing wrong things during written examination, and more so in the prelims also. Because any prelims, if a person is well prepared, can easily get 20% to start off with. Okay, 20-25%. In any case, the prelims marks cutoff, remains around 50-55%, and doesn't go more than that. How do you get into that level from 20-25% to 50%? Because if I don't know, I get nervous. Which one to appear? How to appear? I have seen people, देखिए प्रथमे pencil mark करिवे, ताकू मिटेबे, ताकू ये करिवे, ताकू से करिवे, almost half an hour, 45 minutes over. There are techniques which will come to it. But the point that I want to drive home is that first the mental receptivity has to be so high if you are listening to ethics, your thinking should be totally ethics oriented. And how do you do that? Before the class, subject is there, you must have read that subject before you came, made down your own questions, made understanding. Sir is coming from all the way from Delhi. I must ask this question. And if he's here for more than a day, note down things. So I went back, I read this again, but I did not understand. Can you just clarify me? So you are receiving him completely, what he says. If he's only standing here and you are just making notes and thinking that I will read later, I'm not going to clarify doubts, you are not receiving thing actually. You are only trying to replicate something what you did in school and college. You must understand that school and college is a examination to clear, to get some marks. And there are a lot of leverage to get 80, 90%. There is a practical, there is this and that and so on. So here is no. So your education examination in schools and colleges are entirely different than a competitive exam. So you got to receive that. So power of communication, power of understanding firstly. The second thing is power of communication. And power of communication is not Angrezi, let me tell you this. If I am speaking good English, if I come from a well-educated school, it's no. Power of communication is that I must say, I must write something which is understood and comprehensible to the other side. If you are saying something, if I am not able to understand, there is no power of communication. If I am writing something, the examiner or the guy who corrects your paper, if he is not able to understand that, then you don't get marks. In a prelims, if you are not able to understand and perceive the type of the questions and the nature of the questions and not able to put it in the right time frame because you are not able to communicate, so there the question of power of communication comes up. So power of communication gets translated into written, verbal and so and so. In interview it is verbal, otherwise it is written. But everywhere, unless you say something which the other person can understand, your power of communication is low. So tape kaun hobo? You require to use the right language, the right words, the right sentences, and right so and so. And for that, you got to develop something called clarity of mind. Few days back, I was reading the Times of India. You have this column called, what is it called? Speaking tree. It's good. I was amazed that jnana, which is there in Sanskrit, okay, is actually the earlier translation of jnana was not knowledge, it was clarity. So anybody who had right jnana was supposed to have the right clarity of thoughts. And the clarity of thoughts comes, one of the major things of clarity of thought comes if your power of perception is good. Then you are able to perceive it properly and then communicate it properly. So here comes when you are gaining knowledge, a so-called jnana, how am I trying to actually filter my knowledge and process in such a manner that every day I keep getting clarity, 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 clarity. Say 2 months later, let's say for example, you are supposed to go for an interview. The question asked comes to, oh, you come from Orissa, so let us take it. Or even UPSC. Tell us that Orissa went in for conduct of something called a Pravasi Bharat Divas. PVD is going on now? Okay. Can you tell me something about it? A simple question. I'm not going to make you rise and get up. I'll just give an example. One person may rise. Madhusmita. What's your name? Nikita. What's your name, bete? Jyoti Prakash. Madhusmita says, sir, yes, Prabhat PVD, Pravasi Bharat Divas was held and Modi ji came, Prime Minister came, sir. Lot many people came from abroad, sir. It was held for 3 days in Bhubaneswar. Okay, lot of programs took place, lot of industry interaction took place, and so and so. told by Madhusmita. Madhusmita? Okay. Nikita says, yes, sir, Pravati was conducted in Bhubaneswar after a long time, and it was organized by the Ministry of External Affairs, and so we had so many people attending. The Prime Minister came, the President came, and so many people attended. Now Nikita has gone to more amount of figures. Somewhere is read somewhere, and so many people attended, so many memorandums were signed, and so on. So, what's your name? Jyoti Prakash. Jyoti Prakash says, sir, this is one of the finest programs that has happened. Actually, when you talk of Prabhati Bharat Divas, it was a brainchild of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, wherein the whole aim was that if you can get our overseas citizens, overseas people, and they can come more of India and see, then they'll get more exposed. It will bring us a lot of dividends in terms of investments and intellectual properties. And in the process, Orissa hosted this one, and he gives out the statistics like Nikita, and also gives a conclusion. Out of the 3 responses, let's take response A, forgot about Madhusmita, forgot about Nikita, B, forgot about C. A, B, C, 3 responses that I gave you. Which response do you think is slightly better than the others? Say loudly. C. You say this. C, na? But if C is good, does it mean A and B are bad? They are also good answers. So when a person walks off in the interview with 140, 150, another person walks off with 180, 190, okay, this is the difference. I'm just giving you through example. If a person, is not able to, somebody scores 800 in written in the mains, I'm talking of UPSC, and somebody scores just about 600 plus, it doesn't make the grade, then this is the difference. So here comes the clarity. Because person C has gone to the background. When did it start? Why did it start? And how did the rotation come as far as Orissa is concerned? It's not that just because there is a BJP government, the BJP government decided, okay, we'll have it something. No. It is a question which is started, and there are a lot of dividends which started, and so on. So a person hearing answer given by C, it is more like a, very fine tuned and so on. So I tend to get impressed, and I give him, say if I have to give him out of 20, let's say if I have to give her 10, 12, I'll possibly give her 14, 15. Him. So these 2, 3 marks which, accumulates and then gets into a better type of answer. So at the end of the thing, you will find that A's answer in a written paper may be 600, her may be 650, he will get into 700, 750. This is the only difference. Knowledge is the same. It's not that she didn't know about PBD, or she didn't know about dinner, or he didn't know about this thing. They all knew. They all knew broadly. I'm giving you some small example. You understood, what it is? So this comes the clarity of mind. And clarity of mind comes from 2 things, your perception and your retention. And there is ways and means how to retain it also. I'm just giving you broadly today. The second and most important factor that we come into, the third factor after understanding the power of communication, is your analytical powers. You are able to analyze. Today is the world of analytics. Whether it is called a data analytics, whether it is called business analytics, or you can talk of, cultural analytics, intelligence analytics, anything for that matter, because as you are moving more towards artificial intelligence and so on, so it is becoming more important that we are able to analyze things properly. And one of the important things that we look for in your mind for future for potential candidates in civil services are ability to analyze. You will get this challenge in prelims, you will get this challenge more in your mains, where we are now putting almost 25%, let me tell you, I am giving a small, if it is not coming, you will soon get it, 20 to 25% of the questions get into analytics. And almost a similar percentage of questions will come in the interviews of analytics. And analytics nothing but related to a cognitive power. You know what is cognitive power? Ability to interpret and comprehend. It's something like Aguru, the computer Saustula. The computer speed, the RAM and ROM speed used to be very, very low. Today getting very fast this thing. So when you talk of fast computing and so on so, you say कि my computer or my mobile is 8 GB RAM or somebody 16 GB RAM. What is it? I have got that much speed to get into random access. RAM is random access memory. So earlier I used to have a small power, now I have got more amount of chip power to this thing. So I can search things faster, move things faster. And what is artificial intelligence? Is ability to search faster and get the things data on your head. So analytics is a very important part. So you must start your preparation of analytics right now itself. For example, why should there be a PBD? So much of money is being spent by the government. Let us take it. Analytics will show that yes, the last, this is what session this is? 6th or 7th? This is 8th. 18th? Okay, whatever is the first. Okay. So you do an analysis of last 10. So many people came, so many came, what it resulted into investment and so on and so forth. Anything for that matter. So try this habit of developing analytics now itself. Don't go merely by facts. Don't go merely by facts. If there is something out here, like somebody has been teaching you efficiency and effectiveness, analyze this. Why firstly there is a difference between efficiency and effectiveness? Which is more applicable? Efficiency to whom and effectiveness to whom? So simple clarity of thought, if you see, an efficiency will always relate to an individual, effectiveness is always to an organization. This is a clarity of thought. Then from there you can deduce so many things. So unless you don't have the clarity of thought, okay, is there something else there? Trust and confidence, something. Now, you got to be very clear when you're reading this paper, why there are two things called trust and there was the confidence. Trust is something, I have trust in you. Confidence again mostly to myself. Do I have the confidence to myself? You're getting the subtle difference. From there will emanate lot many other differences. I'm just giving an example what is there in the blackboard out here. I have not picked up this. We have counselors, people who are trying to tell you. I think, do you have counselors here in your this thing? Like all big coaching institutes have counselors who have 8-10 people, candidates under one this thing. I remember I was addressing, I think some Wazira or somebody, I think, in Delhi some time back. So I asked who are the counselors here. So a couple of them rose like this. And I tell you, what is the biggest thing that you value in your students? Somebody said knowledge, somebody said this, that, so and so. But very few people said trust. For a counselor, the biggest thing that I must trust, if I got 4 students to counsel, Madhusmita, Nikita and so and so, I must know everything about Madhusmita. I must have trust in Madhusmita. Not only from her intellectual, not only from her this thing, but even from her families. If Nikita is my student as a counselor, I must know everything about Nikita. That much trust Nikita must have in the counselor to share both personal and other issues. Then only you become a counselor. There is no point counselor just trying to tell you, no, your way of pattern, way of examination answers should have been like this, A, B, C, D and so and so. or you, at the end of the day, most of the counselors leave you with something called, oh, you need to work hard, oh, you need to put in so and so hours, you need to get up early in the morning, you need to so and so karke. Standard answers of most of the counselors, which are absolutely non-effective to the most of the candidates. I'm just giving you an example of what did I was telling you of analytics. Okay, these are quality that you're looking for in students, how able to analyze. The next quality that you look for is your ability to respond to critical situations and emergency situations. And this always happens in life. You must be going, suddenly you will trip. Okay. Or you want to catch a bus for examination, but the bus is missed. The other day it happened with one of my nieces. She went to appear for the CAT examination. And suddenly I got a call from her. I said, I thought you're supposed to win examination. But I have forgotten my admit card. Oh my God. I said, how much time have you got with you? I just got 15 minutes, and I thought if anybody on this planet I should ring, I must ring you up. I said, oh my God, don't worry, you'll get a card within 15 minutes. Well, we did something dramatic and the card was delivered within 15-20 minutes. Emergency situations. It can happen to anybody for that matter. How quickly you think within a short time frame to offset or to tackle something which is unexpected. You will get both questions in written and also in during interview to fair extent, large extent. If you are a collector, if you are an SP, if you are an income tax guy, if you are falana guy, this thing happens, what will you do? We very well know that you are here to clear an examination and yet to know that you are going to become a collector. But we will give you that situation. So, this is something great quality that you are looking for. And most importantly, last we also look into a social adjustment and social ability. How are you able to adjust yourself socially? When I say socially, a lot of people say, I don't want to make friends here. Okay, please don't disturb me. Let me remain in an isolated place, so and so and so. Some elders, they don't meet with people. Okay. There are some people taku namaskar karo, namaskar karibani, office be karibani. Ha, asilu. Oh, sit down. Have you seen that, na? If you go to the elder, ha, niyati asilu, boss. Are niyati namaskar korchi, please give taku office le namaskar kore. Please namaskar. Okay, niyati, how are you? Not even ask you, how are you? Kim tesa kaun nahi. That paternal thinking, oh, I shouldn't be asking that youngster, how is he karke? Niyati asilu, oh, sit down, get me a glass of water. We are very poor communicators socially, let me tell you this. Even ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଛି ଆଜିକାଲି ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ଟିକେ ପ୍ରଣାମ କରିବା ପାଇଁ, ଆଗରୁ ତ ଇଟ୍ ୱାଜ୍ ଏ ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲ୍ ପ୍ରୋସେସ୍ କି ଯାଇକି ନଈକି ପାଦ ଛୁଇଁବ, ସେଟା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରି ଏମିତି ହେଇଗଲାଣି. It's become like this. I remember one of my nephew came and he says ki, Dada, I said, hold on. I said, is it a new form of salutation? Because we heard either you do this or you do like this. ठीक है ना? But he says, like this. Okay. So, naturally, I had to respond. Movie to respond kali. Yeah. Okay. So, what happens is that you don't connect. If somebody doesn't respect you properly, you don't connect. But ताको तो तुम गाड़ी के बाहर कर परियो ना, ओ तू एंती स्टाइल कर चो जा ठीक कोई तो हबनी हैं, you got to accept him, right? So when you become officers in civil services something, you will find lot many characters of this nature. Will people will walk into office, mu आगे MLA इटी करो, mu यहाँ टिकर सरपंच, आपको इसको काम करना पड़ेगा, फलाना करना पड़ेगा. You will find all sort of stupid guys come because you are in public service. You are in what? You are going to become public servants, public service. So there, you will be interacting with public. So if you don't have right amount of social attitudes, social etiquettes, social adaptability, etc., then you can't become a good officer. So, sir, how will you find out in so and so? आम से जो बसु ना समस्त अधांकर बाल नधांकर धड़ा हो. So we have a combined experience of put 60 into 5 or something, 5 guys, 300 years looking into a candidate of 20-25 years old. So we can make out the moment you open your gob. That's beside the point. But the fact lies is that if you recollect, if you remember this 5-6 points that I told you, can you recollect those 5 to 6 points? What is the first thing that I told you? Power of understanding or comprehension. Second, power of communications. Third, analytical powers. Fourth, ability to resort. And last, good, you're all clear. You don't require any more guidance. Keep these 5 fundamental principles even while you are preparing your written examination here. Okay, and take full advantage of this wonderful faculty who come from all the way from Delhi. Grill them. You should be actually asking more questions than he's been telling you. Boss se utha deva katha nahi. You should have been you should pura prepare karke aswa katha ke sir eta kuhantu why it is this. And let me tell you, he is almost a similar age, little. I can grill him only on this point for half an hour. Efficiency and effectiveness. So how do you grill it? Suppose there is an ethics class to this nature, read at least 5 years questions before this on ethics. And everything, you guys are not actually using internet to the full or to the artificial intelligence to the full. If you get into this thing, you will say, okay, what are the salient points of ethics questions in last 5 years? Today the AI will tell you, ChatGPT will tell you, this is what it is like. See, if you read this, and today you are having the class, read it. Don't ask questions for the sake of question because you have gone through the ChatGPT. No, never show your knowledge here amongst you. Let me tell you, a lot of people do this mistake. They want to show their knowledge, I am better than others. Sometimes even faculties do this mistake. I've been advising mostly in Delhi and all these people. I say, don't even say, because I remember I was sitting in somebody's class and the faculty says, oh, Susmita, she gave a good answer. Oh, here is the IS topper. Now Susmita says, yaar, मैं तो अभी IS topper ही बन गया. You're actually doing harm. Faculty do a lot of harm trying to tell people. He must be thinking that he's motivating. No, but you are only in a state of preparations, right? So, state of preparation always a state of uncertainty, always state of anxiety. Okay, you are in a state of what happens next, you are not aware of it. So, you got to prepare your body and mind, okay, in such a manner that you're able to receive everything what the faculty tells you out here. Have you understood what I told you so far? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Now you can shoot questions. If you have any questions. Yeah. Can I have this water? This thing. Oh my God. This is virgin mojito or something? No. Okay. That tastes nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when you talk of discipline, what is it that is distracting you, or what is it that you are not able to maintain? Because discipline starts right from the morning. Right from the time you get up in the morning, you do your routine course, you set a time to yourself, okay, and then move and so and so. There's so many aspects of discipline. Since I don't know you before, then what is it that is actually you think that distracting towards maintaining discipline? Every time? Good. I'm so happy. That's the discipline. That's the discipline. Why are you thinking that's against the discipline? I think I was somewhat like you when I was in school. Mind you, I studied in a military school, and I'm telling you, 4 o'clock used to be games time, and I was just waiting कि 4 बजे का होगा कर. Mind you. So you are on right lines. Why do you think it's lack of discipline? It's actually the discipline. If you're thinking that you love games, right, and you got to go for games at 4 o'clock, and you are ready, your mind is working towards this thing, that is the discipline. So what do you think is a lack of discipline is actually a self-discipline. Now tell me next distraction. You like socializing a lot. Okay. Yeah, so this is not a case of discipline. It's a case of prioritization. Okay. See, all of us like to do so many things at a point of time. Say, for instance, you've gone for a marriage party. You have so many dishes. Chingudi achi, macha achi, mansa achi, salah. You talk of a thing and you find this thing kariki. You start growing everything. Obviously, you will land up in the hospital next day. Okay. But if you prioritize कि मते चिंगुड़ी भला तो मैं चिंगुटा खाइबी. Okay. And with this, since it's got more amount of protein, let me take little sabji and something. मैं 3-4 खाइबी so that I enjoy my food also, and I don't go to the hospital the next day. So whenever you are confronted with such multiple ideas, कि प्रभात भाषा that will keep continuing. आज प्रभात भाषा something else will go tomorrow. But if you feel that by attending that, I will gain some knowledge which will help me towards my examination, then it's worthwhile thinking about it. Otherwise, just clear out of it. You're too young because you will be desiring to go, but in such things you really do nothing because your aim is to study and prepare. And most of the things are here on the books or in the net. There's nothing in the Prabhati Bharat there. Okay, you might hear something, but that you can see through YouTube. How does it matter? So make your mental frame in such a mind that my priority lies studies. Then when it comes to social activity, who doesn't want to roam around? Somebody tells me, where is your this thing? Sir, come. But he tells me, sir, instead of coming and give a talk, let's go to Cinepolis and see a movie. I would love to go here. But my priority is that since I committed, let me come here. So mind will always take you to something which is of softer nature. Okay. At the moment something hard comes up, it will always distract you. Nah, it's a corner. But you have to decide that the hard thing has to be attempted first. One principle you must think, never procrastinate. The famous talk of Kabir ji, कल करे सो आज करे सो रहीमन कभी होएगी बोहरी करेगी कब. So you have to prioritize and do immediately. That's my point. So don't think that you are indisciplined. You are actually disciplined in front of games. And if you are playing games, you will really do well because I'm talking of science now. I'm not talking of theory. The science says that if you are doing something of physical nature, say like you like something like games or something, your actually brain starts getting more activated. And you start receiving things better. We said one of the fundamental things is that how to receive things better. So you got to create this mind. Why do people say if you have to practice music, You go to practice early in the morning. Why? Because the mind is very fertile to receive music and songs early in the morning. Because તમે ખાલી બસુଛ for the sake of it and you are not receiving anything, then you are wasting your time. So take out time where you can receive the maximum. Okay, so don't get frustrated that you are indisciplined. You are actually very disciplined, right? What's a good name? Prayas Kumar Raut. This your doubt? Any other thing? Is this have you got clarification? Are you happy or not? Yes, thank you. Sit down. Anybody else? Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, how to maintain balance between your responsibility towards your family and need to study right now?
What responsibility have you got towards family now?
I'm the elder daughter, so I have some duties toward my parents. They have to, they will call me I'll be the first person to respond to it. And
Of course, somebody.
I get distracted.
Listen, firstly, in the family, somebody has to be elder. Yes or no? Can it ever happen that somebody in a family there is somebody not elder? Now, why do you think that you are so important because you're elder that you will be called at the first time to sort out things?
So I'm asking that.
Even if you are called, how does it matter? How is it distracting you? They will call you once in a while, na? If you,
Suppose my father is ill
hmm,
and I have only 3 months for my prelims.
hmm.
Then I have both the responsibilities. So it becomes very difficult to maintain both.
Who says your father's illness is your responsibility? You are trying to take it yourself. The doctor is there to sort it out. What can you do?
Some things need to be done by me.
That something will come as and when it comes. Most of the time, we waste a lot of time in putting self pressures to us. Okay, I am supposed to do this. I am supposed to. Who the hell has told you to do damn thing? Huh? You only saying that you want to make yourself important. Mu ghar bada sabutu. Are mu nakale kiye karibo. Don't worry. World will still run without you. Even if you leave your father ill and go and study somewhere else, things will run. Nothing is going to go upset. Okay, huh? Most of the time, you see, from my childhood, I have been away from my family. I studied in a residential school, then joined National Defence Academy at a very young age. ସମସ୍ତେ କହିବେ ଆରେ ସେ ବାହାଘର ତୁ ଆସିବୁନି କେମିତି ଆରେ ଫଲାନା କେମିତି ଆସିବୁନି କେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି यार if one person doesn't come is the ବାହାଘର going to stop and even if I come there you won't even recognize me he will say कि first तू कौन କରୁଛୁ अच्छा I've come to attend the marriage ଗୋଟେ କାମ କଲୁ ଗୋଟେ ପରିବା ନେଇକି ଆସିବୁ ହେରି okay or go to the he will find some silliest of work okay and tell me to it and you'll start creating work because you have landed up there okay nobody is indispensable you got a job to do I call it this is the more responsibility because you have taken it to yourself you have taken a responsibility to yourself na? So don't deviate tell your father I am here I'll be there at you all the time please don't disturb me in my work yes have the guts to say then only you rise in life you can't be two ways life right? Remember one thing when you take a resolve when you take a decision to do something in life achieve something in life be absolutely strict to yourself firstly दुनिया लोग को दुनिया कथा कहबे my experience in life is that you will hear every time even if you do the best of things people will keep talking to you talking against you why are you worried and nobody is indispensable you have taken a call if you don't want if you want to look up your father is so ill you take care ना मु ड्रॉप करछि वर्षे मो बापा को देखभाल करिवि मु खाली घर रहि के आसीबि I can't do two things I will see later how does it matter life doesn't end you got 32 plus 5 37 years still 37 years. You must be in 20s 10 वर्ष अछि how does it matter कौन ना तुमरा Mamita thinks the world will not move without her no the world will still move okay no you respect your parents and the biggest respect that you will give to your parents is that if you are sincere to yourself mind is good okay does it answer your question or no okay what your father does papa kaun karante oh so it's a very nice department he'll tell you what good weather is always so why are you worried huh chalo next any other questions that will the cost of I'll ask if there is no other then I'll give come back to you yeah if somebody else because you already had a chance. Anybody else want to ask a question? Yeah. जिंदगी में डिलेमा फेस किया हैं? See, the cows will come if I tell you all this, but the fact is the first dilemma, I'll tell you. I qualified for NDA and IIT at the same time. Okay. The IIT results came later, so I joined the NDA. My father and my elder brother landed up in Pune. He says, leave NDA and come. You go to IIT and you go to join. Big dilemma. Abhi kya kare? Your father is there, your elder brother is there, secondly, third attack, called army jibu. Okay, I join IIT Core. Big dilemma. So I said, Dad, you don't leave the academy like this. Give me a little time. Now that you have come all the way, please enjoy Pune, go to Bombay. So घूम घाम के जाओ, ठीक है ना? This will take out 6-7 days. I want to buy time. So Ditin बोली पढ़ेले, हैला? After that I forgot altogether. I said I have taken a decision. That's all. I took it, and I was how old I was? Maybe 17 years old. So dilemma, first dilemma. Then there are plenty of dilemma. Then if I tell you dilemma of life and death, if I tell you so and so, plenty are there. Okay, because I have participated in almost all the operations that you can think of. Okay, whether it's Kargil or insurgency or anywhere for that matter in Kashmir. So life is full of dilemmas. Okay, but never get. In fact, when you get a dilemma, when you get it, you should be more happy, because there is a dilemma. If there is no dilemma, there is no life. Let me tell you this. Life is a continuous dilemma. It's the question, do I take it as a dilemma or take it as a part of life? Just take it as a part of life. Okay, that's all. The sun will rise at the same time. It will set at the same time. There will be wind, there will be everything, there will be sun rays. Nothing is going to change even after a million years. Only you and me are going to change. Why create a dilemma? You understand? Dilemma is only self-created. If you just come out of that little amount of, sphere that you make, we make very, very small closeness, because as human beings, since generations, you see, like animals are very protective, if you see. You touch a tiger cub or you take any animal, that animal will swing and hit you. We are also upgraded human beings. We are all protective. We want to protect ourselves. And in protecting, you create a surrounding to yourself. Whenever there is a dilemma, cross that surrounding. The whole world is yours. I don't consider anything as a dilemma. Till such time I'm walking on the street and one truck or what a scooter mardi polela, that's a different issue. There's something with, otherwise life is like this. Do you think appearing for this exam is a dilemma? No. Then why do you think other things are dilemma? This is the biggest dilemma, biggest challenge. We'll share, but maybe I'll be taking out others' time. There are plenty of this thing. Okay. Wherever it is relative to give you certain examples to drive home, we'll do that. Okay. But maybe we'll, taking other people's time. Yeah, anybody else? Yeah, you want to ask something? This girl with the pink. Yeah. Yeah, because wanting to ask something, I can make out. But you are holding back. Pacharvi, no pacharvi. Now rise, stand. Now you can ask. Yeah. I outlined certain qualities that you're looking for. Okay. This is all a question of marks. When you say desirable quantities, this is a question of marks. If you find a candidate has scored well in all these 5-6 qualities, he automatically gets a better marks, this thing, right? And then combine it with your written exams, we select him. At that time, you don't make an assessment he or she has applied for IPS. So let me see, इसके अंदर पुलिसगिरी है नहीं है. पुलिसगिरी मतलब when you talk of पुलिसगिरी डंडा मारना चाहिए, फलाने से, वो नहीं है, nothing of this nature. We just see some basic personality qualities, okay, which will take you not only at the initial stage but take you also up in life. So these are what the desirable qualities are, and there are tools to find out. When we'll ask you a question, but your response will give us the tools to assess whether you have the quality or not. I give one example just to tell you. This is one of the tools, okay, that is make an assessment, right? There are plenty of tools to find out all these qualities, okay. Don't get worried about that point. Just think of this 5-6 points, start developing. And when I say 5-6 point, to develop this, immediately get into the net or the chat GPT and take out all derivatives, all these 5-6 points. Okay, make a separate notebook to yourself. Keep writing down. How do I improve? Do I have how do I have adequate amount of communication capability or not? If I have to check myself, and there are so many self-test tools which comes up in terms of communications, which you can do it yourself also. Okay. Right. Any other? Yeah, this girl first. Yeah. हैं? अभी तो डिलीवर होने नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज हमने दोनों का सिलेबस एक ही कर दिया था. हाँ हाँ. Dates clashing, you mean to say. Which comes first? Bas, that is a challenge. Forget about this thing. You clear OPSC first. Don't get into the dilemma कि मैं OPSC में करूँ, because it's too difficult an exam. So don't put yourself into too much of mud कि मैं OPSC करूँ. You say you want to do OPSC, give yourself OPSC this time. UPSC को देख लो, ठीक है ना? But fully concentrate on OPSC, because if you succeed in OPSC and say you get selected, you get that confidence कि okay, let me now try for UPSC. Okay, but if you say कि नहीं मुझे OPSC करना नहीं है, I'll only home for UPSC, then forget about OPSC. Then consider OPSC. Don't get into two boats. Though these things are similar, but time is limited. Are you studying, working, or what? Are fully okay now? You have okay. So give yourself OPSC first, because OPSC has also evolved to be a very good platform. Okay, and then a lot of people have joined OPSC and then cleared UPSC later. Okay, but say कि नहीं मुझे OPSC बहुत लागू नहीं, I will get into UPSC. Then you make a plan accordingly. Then study for UPSC. Getting my point? हाँ. But कब है? When is the exams? Today is January, April, January, February, March. अब कितने टाइम दरकार? Okay, you just think that supposing this exam was to be held in June, you would have been comfortable? It's a question of a month or two. So say if I am studying 10 hours a day, let me study 12 hours, 14 hours a day. Salla. So where is the question of dilemma? You get my point? Timing is not the issue. Issue is, I have seen candidates, let me tell you, who have been working somewhere with just a minimum preparation a month, have cleared UPSC also. Okay, so it's not the question how you qualitatively prepare, that's more important. And with so much of preparation, let me tell you, the best of results in OPS and UPSC in both mains and prelims do not cross more than 50 to 60%. Do you know this? So if you are in 40%, just another 10% will clear. How does it matter? No, that is again a different approach. Then you have to, one has to sit down. I don't know whether you have counselors or not. That's a different approach. By through mocks, you will have to see where you are going wrong. Getting my point? That's an individual thing. Making mistakes, which are the sectors where you are finding more time. See, any exam has got 4-5 heads. So, economy, however, political science, however. So where is that area that you are getting stuck up? So that self-analysis you have to do yourself. Okay, or your writing is less, or you are not able to write, or you're writing too much, jarurati besi. Okay, rather than writing in point form. So those are techniques of exams which have come later. And today was just a general interactive question to share with you the points that is there. If on general thing, if you want to ask anything, general thing, sir, mate डर लाଗୁଛି prepare କରିବା ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କରିବି ନ କରିବି okay right oh so if I come again I may share what's your good name bete Tejasvi Tejasvi her concern of dilemma in army will do that but presently let's concentrate on civil services okay but if you have a issue which is individualistic in nature that you get delayed, that will require a different approach. I think, do you have people who can guide? You have people, yes, they will guide. Okay. There are mentors who will tell you all this issue. If they can't, then you tell me. Okay. Okay, right. But I won't give you the questions, I will only give you the approach. Some people used to come, sir, हमको खाली question कह दियो तू मु कहली आउ सब हम कर दो मु जदी question कह दो आउ सब कोन करियो तुम स्पेशली ओन रिलेशंस ना कौन दादा एति तो कहि परबे क्वेश्चन अपन मते कहि देबे मु कहली हां so this sort of things are comes when you in such a position you will always get these things okay yeah any other thing yeah
Rajiv worked in domestic sphere also, in the international sphere also. So when India make policies, in ethical policy, in international sphere is very good. Like we promote our culture and like vaccine Maitri and all. But when the domestic sphere, after 77 years, we lack so much issues are there compared to developed nations. They lack the ethical policy at international level, but they are very good at domestic level. But we are good at international level, means like promoting peace and all, but we lack domestic sphere very much. So
see when you make such assessment of your own country you got to think on certain parameters and what are those parameters that we inherited freedom of this country from nothing. We're the number one economy in the world in the 17th century, in the beginning of the 18th century. By the time the Britishers left us, we were one of the poorest nations in the world. Undergone famines, undergone starvations and so, with no industrial base. Almost 70% of the people were actually below poverty line, agriculture based. It was a different country altogether. Not only that, we got independence in 47 and 48 we had to fight a war with Pakistan. They wanted to take away Kashmir. And from there, protecting sovereignty of the country was a big challenge. A lot of money went in. So we had two challenges, poverty and sovereignty. So when you have to fight these two challenges, etc., apparently, and we also adopted democracy. There are countries also progressed very fast who were also in similar state, like I'll tell you, Korea, Japan, vanquished after the bombing of the nuclear bomb. There are many countries which also in a similar line. But they moved faster because they did not adopt democracy. That democracy was something of a different nature, sham democracy, where it was named was the democracy, but it was a sham. For reasons we did not go in for a authoritative democracy because for more than 200 years we were under rule of somebody, colonized. So the general mass was not ready to take on this. So when you are running a system with no money, poverty, sovereignty threats and so, in a democratic culture, it's a difficult call, right? Well, whole purpose was that how to feed our people. If you recollect, we used to have somebody called the father of Indian agriculture. Who? Dr. Swaminathan. Swaminathan was called by Pandit Nehru sometime in 1956-57 in one of the meetings and told him that you are a great scientist of agriculture. You got a Barlow Award. My concern is not only development, my concern is to feed every person in India. Can you do something? I'll give you full pass. So that was the concern, political concern. So from there now we have risen to so high. We have undergone 4 wars. When I say wars, it is threat to sovereignty. Somebody want to come and occupy your territory, right? We have gone economic crisis, we have gone so and so, and yet we have maintained the resilience of democracy with us. And today we are 1.4 billion people. Billion matlab more mouths to eat, face to eat, so and so. If you ask me, we have done fantastically well last 70, 75 years as compared to many other nations. If you look through these parameters, well, in any developing society, there will be issues, right? There will be issues of governance, and one of the challenges of governance, because governance also shaped over a period of time. Nobody ever thought that there will be so many cars on the road. Nobody ever thought that there will be so many population. Nobody ever thought that the technology will rise so much to the level that will, technology both good and also for bad also, right? And we also did not evolve ourselves into managing things, to train leaders to handle this. And because we did not have good, opportunities, lot of our good people went away. So we had a lot of this thing. But when you ask me today, our economy is the 5th largest economy in the world. Okay, we have a resilient structure. Chinese wanted to take away a big chunk of land in 2020 in Galwan. Okay, they've been shown the door. Okay. Northeast under threat, we have been able to hold it. Manipur is burning. There are so many challenges to national security. Despite all this, India fabric has remained intact. While on our neighbor, you see Pakistan, you see Sri Lanka, you see Afghanistan, you see so and so. Okay, all these countries are failed democracies or failed nations, failed governance. So we have stood like a rock in the Indian subcontinent. And you won't be sitting like this, let me tell you, right? I have served in many countries. Even I used to be India's defense advisor in Middle East, located in Tehran. And the biggest thing the people used to share with me is that, sir, you are a democracy. We can speak anything that you feel like, we can't do that. I laughed. Yes, we speak more than required. Okay. But then they can't speak. Go to any of these countries, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq. I had a tenure as a part of the Indian training team in Iraq way back in early 90s. And Saddam Hussein was there. And we heard that one of the generals who opposed it gave a very constructive suggestion to Saddam Hussein, which Saddam Hussein didn't like it. After the conference, he says, can I have a discussion with you after this? So he called that, he was a major general, mind you. All that Saddam did was he took out his pistol, put it in his head and shot him. So after that, nobody ever spoke. Can you ever think this in a country like ours? I can give any example, so many examples I can give you in this part of so-called authoritative regimes per se. Luckily, we don't have that. We can speak anything, we can get away with anything, okay, yet we are a country on the move. Okay, so don't be so skeptical as far as the country is concerned. There will be issues. Even if today you may say there are no issues with the US. Last year, US alone had 1.7 lakh people who committed suicide. It has got the largest number of mental diseases in the world. Who does shooting in the schools? How much of shooting is there as far as killing children is concerned in schools? They have large amount of issues. They are one of supposed to be most developed, but they have issues. So all of us will have issues, but our issues are still there. We are emerging. Let's give us another 40, 50 years time. By the time you guys grow up to be, why I can take it another 20 years time, I think it will be a very fine country. You are all in good times, let me tell you this. We have seen the difficult times, but you are in good times. Okay. Anything else? Thank you very much for, you have some? Yeah, quick. You see, those are comes through practice. First you have to realize that I am procrastinating. And one of the big thing about procrastination is what I told you, kal kare to aaj kare. Don't delay it. Even if you, tendency क्या होता है ना, मुझे I will do the best. No, you don't have to do the best of every time. Supposing, let's say you have done an essay today. You got, give an example, let's say you got 30 out of 100, right? So your thing is that, I want to at least get 40, 45 or 50. You thinking, I will write essay which I will get at least 60. The moment you give yourself a goal larger than you can achieve, you tend to procrastinate. Let's say you got 30 in essay, and if you give yourself a goal that I am going to get 60, then you will procrastinate. But if you give yourself a smaller goal, no, I got 30, even if I am failing, my next attempt I will get 35. You will not procrastinate. So one of the methods to avoid procrastination is to select smaller goals. One of the methods. Okay, quickly do it and have smaller goals. The moment you have smaller goals to achieve, then you will tend to achieve it. Because then you don't have fear. ମୁଁ 30 ଅଛି ମୁଁ 35 କରିଦେବି. But the moment you say कि ମୁଁ 30 50 के 60 କରିବି, the fear comes in. अरे मुझे next time के लिए 50 मिल जाए, कौन करिବି? So who has created fear? Not the teacher. It is you. So setting small goals and achieving it is one of the methods to avoid procrastination. Okay? One of the methods. There are many other methods. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have taken the lead. That will be final question. But in a school, college, this is the final one. After no questions. Okay, chal, Yeah. Get it? Say again? What is the role of? Romantic relationship. You must have romantic relationship. Who says you don't have? What is romance? Romance is that you like a girl, you become friends with her. How does it matter? And is making friends something wrong in life? Friendship is a noble word, no? What is more than friendship? No, you see, that definition of what is more and what is less, as long as it is not distracting you. I told you the purpose. You can have any amount of intimate relationship, but it should not distract you. But what happens is, at your age, when the neurons are very active, okay, the moment you get into a deeper state of relationship, especially with the opposite sex,
values that we will be keeping with ourselves and will be practicing those while in preparation and even in life. So thank you so much, sir. We are really grateful to you that you have taken out some precious time for us, and will be really grateful to you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.